Welcome to the Education Insights Focus on Behavior podcast. We're here to talk about all things behavior in the world of education. We take the science of behavior and break it down for educators into easily implementable steps, and we're excited to spend some time with you. Get ready to talk through behavior, what works, what doesn't work, and how we can all improve our work in schools so we as educators can be more fulfilled and our students can be more successful.
Welcome to Education Insights Focus on Behavior. I'm your host, Dr. Selena Layden, and I'm joined today by my co-host, Daniel Irwin. Hey, Daniel.
Hello.
And Dr. Daria Lorio-Burston. Hey, Daria.
Hi, everyone.
And of course, we're also joined by our producer, Emily Muse. Hey, Emily.
Hello there.
All right. Well, today we are thinking a lot about the time of year, and school is getting ready to start here in lots of places. I recognize school starts at a variety of different times depending on where you are, but I think we're all kind of turning our heads towards that first day of school. So we wanted to start out today by just talking about our wish for you, our listeners. Many of you are educators. A lot of you have different roles. And so we just wanted to talk about like what we hope goes really well this year. And so Daria, we're going to start with you.
Great. So my wish for everybody this school year is to truly have a learning community in their classrooms. So yes, I'm sure that everybody is going to have very structured classrooms and you're going to have all your ducks in a row, so to speak. But I really hope that the feeling and kind of as the younger friends say, the vibes of the class, right, are those of a learning community where everybody feels a sense of ownership, where everybody feels that sense of belonging, where everybody is working on helping each other, not because you get a reward for it, but because that's what we do, right? In this classroom, these are our values. This is how we support one another, and we all are a part of one meaningful learning community.
Nice. Daniel?
That's beautiful. And I'm going to piggyback on that, in that sort of expanding upon that and thinking about, every school year for students is obviously focused on learning. And as teachers and administrators, each school year is another opportunity to learn as professionals, right? So I think expanding that learning community into a culture in the school where expertise is valued and shared ownership of students with disabilities and shared ownership of responsibilities and professional learning and collaboration. My wish is that those things come smoothly and easily, and the year becomes a valuable learning experience for you, the professionals you work with.
Great. And I'll just add mine. I really just hope and wish that you find joy in your students this year. I think education can be challenging sometimes, and there's a lot of external factors that cause pressure or frustration or whatever feelings you may feel. But at the end of the day, one of the things I always loved about my job is being able to go in and see students and see them grow and all the wonderful things they're doing. And so I hope that you can find your joy in that. So that's our start to this. And we're kind of doing this episode. We talked about doing it in threes. So that's our three wishes. And so now we're going to move on to our three considerations. So these are three things that we really think are important to think about as you are trying to figure out how to start your year, where to start, what are the things that you need to put in place in order to set yourself up for a more successful year. So this time, just to switch it up, we'll go with Daniel first.
I'm ready. So one of the things to think about is in the classroom, how we are catching the kids doing the right things, right? Our system of reinforcement and how we sort of set expectations and how we reinforce closer approximations as kids are learning the expectations and doing the expectations and meeting expectations in the classroom, how we are sort of setting up a system for acknowledging and celebrating all the good things that they're doing, right? Everybody's nervous when we get going first thing in the school year. So starting strong and sort of having those expectations and really laying it on thick for kids who are meeting those expectations and those who aren't, but are getting closer, right? And so thinking about that system of reinforcement and how you plan to start can be really helpful as far as how you want to visualize or how you want to provide individualized reinforcement so that when kids need more, not if, but when kids need more or something different, there's always that foundation of sort of how the classroom's operating and how we're acknowledging successes and modeling um, reinforcement, right? For lack of a better word. Um, so that it just becomes part of the classroom culture. And when kids need more or kids need less, it's easy to sort of transition back and forth. If and when someone is struggling, whatever. So starting strong with your system of reinforcement, and a great way to do that right at the beginning of the year is just do some preference assessments with the class, right? Depending on your students and their communication, just getting started and figuring out what kids like and what motivates them and that kind of thing. So that's my one.
I think that's a great one. We talk a lot about reinforcement on our show, and it really is probably one of the strongest strategies that we can implement when we are trying to get the behavior that we want to see. So
It is the strongest
it is
strategy.
the
And I
strongest
don't think I did
strategy.
it justice. But figuring out what kids like and what these expectations are can go a long way in setting up a really strong learning environment.
Yeah, and I'm actually going to piggyback off that because mine is related. You mentioned those expectations, and I think that's the other really important consideration as you're thinking about your school year is I know a lot of times we focus on what are the rules of your classroom, and those are really important to know what they are, communicate them, make sure your students understand what they are. But we also have a lot of other things that we expect students to do. All the processes and routines about how they unpack their backpack, how they turn in their homework, how they get their materials out, when they get their materials out. All of those things are things that students need to know how to do, but they aren't necessarily the quote unquote rules of the classroom. They're really just the routines and the processes. But we have to be really mindful of what those are. And so I really encourage you to think through what your expectations are, what your routines and processes are going to be. And then when your students come in, you're going to have to spend time practicing and teaching those. We can't just expect students know how to turn their homework in or where to put their agenda or how to take their water bottle out. All of those things sound really simple, but it works a little different in everybody's classroom. And so taking the time to teach those processes up front so students can be successful is really critical.
So, and speaking of critical success, right? This dovetails nicely into kind of my one hot tip for the day is that make sure you find your people. Make sure you find all the people that you are going to be collaborating with when things are going well and when things are maybe not going as smoothly as you like, and you need some additional think partners and some additional advice. So, it's a great idea to identify all your related services providers, the speech pathologists who might be coming to work with some of your students, making sure you know who the social worker is, who the school counselor is, occupational therapist, all of those pieces, all of those professionals who are also working with your students or who have different expertise than you do. And have a quick email exchange so you introduce yourselves if you don't know them already. Maybe if time allows yourself, maybe grab a quick cup of coffee or tea together, right? Just to build those relationships very proactively because you will need their expertise, you will need their opinions, you will need that collaboration for your students and for you to be successful. And then, very similar to kind of going with the wishes of having that teacher collective efficacy, make sure you're taking the time to get to know your teaching partners, whether it is your department, whether it is your grade level teachers, whether it is your peer educators as well. Just make sure you're learning about the folks around you and know what their strengths are, know what their expertise is, know what their preferences are, so that you can truly hit the ground running with that collaborative piece.
All right. Well, that's our three wishes and our three considerations. And just to stick with our theme, we actually have three resources to share today. So I'm going to turn it over to Emily, and she's going to share those with us.
Alrighty, thank you. So we do have a theme that connects our three resources, and it is that all of them offer options to sign up for either a listserv or an email distribution list that will bring even more resources directly to you on a pretty regular basis. Links to each of these are going to be in the show notes, so please feel free to sign up for any or all of them. And we wanted to highlight options for each of our TTAC centers, our training and technical assistance centers. They have options to sign up for the mailing list for the center that serves your region. So you'll be able to identify what that is and sign up for the corresponding one from the link. We also have the listserv sign up option from ACE, Autism Center for Education, which can deliver even more resources to you that are tailored from that particular center. And then we also wanted to quickly mention Teacher Direct, which is a regular email newsletter from the Virginia Department of Education. And if you are joining us from a different state or a different place, your Department of Education may have something similar. But during the school year, Teacher Direct comes out on a weekly basis and includes links and information about all kinds of subjects, including legislative updates to be aware of, opportunities for professional development, and different ways to really grow your practice and connect with others in a lot of unique and interesting ways. And so by being subscribed to that, you can stay in the know about lots of different things. So 3 different options available for you today, and links to each of them are in the show notes.
Thanks, Emily. And just to add on that, if you are joining us from a state outside of Virginia, a lot of the resources that are on our TTAC online through ACE, they're free and available to anybody. So feel free to check out their websites. And like Emily said, a lot of other states also have very similar structures and frameworks of technical assistance centers. So definitely check out what your state has to offer to see how you can best be supported and grow in your own learning capacity. So thank you, Emily, for sharing those. That brings us to the end of our episode today. I really want to just add, we really truly have loved sharing a lot of tips and strategies and the science of behavior with all of you. But when it comes down to it, we really hope that you have a great start to the school year. Things are always really fun and optimistic as the school year starts. And I just encourage you to lean into that and really enjoy all of the things that are coming in the next few weeks.
Here, here.
Amen.
All right, with that, that brings us to the end of our time today. So Daria, Daniel, thank you.
Thank
You,
you.
Selena.
Emily, thanks so much.
Thank you.
And to our listeners, have a wonderful start to the school year, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks for listening to Education Insights Focus on Behavior. We hope you enjoyed the conversation, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. You can join the conversation by emailing us at cbis@odu.edu, visiting www.cbisva.org, or following us on Facebook, Instagram, X, or Blue Sky at CBISVA. Special thanks to the Virginia Department of Education for their support of this project.